the dryer in the background isn't making much noise. Right?
I'm looking for a scoring winger. May I interest you in a Dylan Larkin?
Mark?
Nah. How about a Kirill Marchenko? Is he available? For the right price. Who do you work for?
Okay, everybody, and it's into the summer doldrums, so now we're at the point of just addressing rumors and hopefully finding some stories that are there. But it's always great to talk pucks, and we're going to be talking lots of it today. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams, who still can't find his own name. Anyway,
Good job.
Yes. Joined, of course, by the host of the Final Buzzer, Mr. John Filkowski.
Countdown until September, October. I mean, I don't know really what else to say right now. So, yeah, kind of looking forward for the summer to end and hockey season and football season to come back.
Yeah, and although games in September, I don't know if I'm ever going to use that. But fortunately, off to the third part of the Triforce, Mr. Anthony LaRocco.
Yeah, as you said, summer doldrums certainly slow on the hockey news. Couple of teams doing some housekeeping, re-signing their own RFAs, but nothing really crazy going on right now. Larkin's still out there, and Marchenko rumors, whether you want to believe him or not. But the good news is it's going to be August in a couple of days, and that means that's the last month without NHL hockey for a long time. So if you're looking at it positively, that's positive.
Yeah, it's also going to be a little bit hard to believe, guys. I mean, I talked about anniversaries that are coming up for me. I mean, my wedding is in November, but I got 18 years at my job coming up in about 3 weeks. I have, and then also we're going to be starting our 7th season come September, which is hard to believe that, a couple guys talking on a Zoom call and then one of his friends messaging us turned into this, but it's great that we're recovering this, and season 7, hopefully just keep on expanding and get our reach out there. So I can't wait to see what is there and what the future holds for us. But guys, while we're trying to figure that out, let's get to the A block, which is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. And also make sure you are liking this, sharing it, hyping it, and subscribe. But let's go to the rumors on Kirill Marchenko, which there were, depending where you looked on the rumors, there's so much swirling around on him, and it makes sense. $3.8 million in his final year. You get a guy who puts up some big numbers. Look at these numbers the last 2 years. 155 games played, 58 goals, 83 assists, 141 points. But it's just like, of course, every team's going to want him. Who's going to pony it up? They already kind of addressed rumors earlier in the year. But, thank you very much, Brian. And, yeah, SeatGeek is great. I can't say enough about it. I'll be using it because I'm headed to California. And when I go there, I'm going to be watching a Ducks game. So can't wait for that. If everything goes according to plan. But, Anthony, I'm going to start with you. We hearing around the different things about this. Mystery teams, whether or not it's true or not. It's just, where is Marchenko going to be playing, you think, opening night?
I'm going to say Columbus. It seemed like when they repaired things with Werenski, it doesn't seem that Marchenko is necessarily banging down the door to get out. But that said, I do think, in which he basically already said, when his contract's up, I don't think he's going to re-sign in Columbus. Here's the caveat, though. Sometimes those reports about players that come from overseas in Europe sometimes end up being true. There was the report about Simon Nemec maybe a couple of weeks after the season ended, that report in Slovakia, right, where reported that he had asked for a trade, and then it came out that those reports kind of were unverified and weren't true, and lo and behold, he got traded anyway. So it is possible that that source in Russia is correct and that Marchenko could be traded. But so you got to remember that aspect. Sometimes these other outlets elsewhere end up being accurate, and here in the U.S., it's kind of just late to the party and, for whatever reason, put up a smoke screen. But that all said, I still think Marchenko is going to end. He's going to start the season in Columbus, but we don't know. We'll see what happens. Still another month, more than that until we really get going here. So there is time. I just feel like he's going to stay put.
It also seems like there might be a king's ransom out there. I mean, you're hearing all the different rumors and internet talk about this. What are the teams you think might be interested in him, Filk?
We're hearing Montreal. There are a couple of other teams that are interested. I wonder if a team like Detroit could get in on it. I do wonder if the Rangers are there. I do. And I know everybody hates using that word wonder because Elliot Friedman loves using that word. And a lot of the times it ends up amounting to absolutely nothing. But I do think that there is a chance that the Rangers could be involved. I don't know what their level of interest will be, depending on what the return is or what the demanded return is from Columbus. But I'll tell you right now, the Rangers need to be in on this. They need to go get another top six forward. And Kirill Marchenko would be that guy. I don't think Gabe Perreault is involved. I do think that I do think that he's off limits completely. I think they love what they saw from him last year, and I wouldn't move him. I'd be locking him up to what Frankie Nazar got. I would go and give him what Frankie Nazar got from Chicago tomorrow. I would do it today if I could. But maybe Columbus would want. I don't know how much value Schneider has. I don't. Simone Nemec just got that insane return. Points are valued in the NHL, as we've seen with Nemec, Luke Hughes, so on. I would personally try to move Schneider and other assets. If I have to move some of the guys that they acquired to get Kirill Marchenko, I'm doing it. I'm not thinking about it. Especially because of the fact that Chris Drury has really kind of gotten pot committed with this. They're kind of in purgatory right now. But I do, to kind of go back to Marchenko itself and where he could end up seeing, I wonder if Utah could get involved with it. Utah would be someone that I would like to see get involved with this, depending on what the cost is. Utah could benefit from a guy like Marchenko in their lineup. Seattle got involved in the Jason Robertson talks. Would Seattle be willing to give up someone like Berkeley Catton to make this happen? I mean, Catton looked okay last year. Didn't look great. Anaheim? Would Anaheim move assets? I mean, I don't think they have the cap space really to do it, but could they do something like that? I just think there are a few other teams. I wonder. I know they re-signed Robertson and they don't have cap space, but would Dallas be able to do something with Sagan and try to get Marchenko there? Because long term, that would really help them out big time. I know that the cap is going to be tough to navigate, but he really does fit there, and they need some depth after they lost Maverick Bourque, to Nashville. They had to make that deal. So I personally, I think there are probably two or three other teams that you're not going to expect that would probably jump into that. The bubble team like Nashville get involved. A team that, honestly, San Jose would be a real good fit. San
Yeah.
Jose use another guy like him, and that would be a real good fit. I don't think they're going to give up the assets to do it, but if there's any team that needs another legitimate top winger that has the cap space to take him on and that has the expendable assets to do it, San Jose makes a ton of sense for me.
I mean, yeah, and that's why I think if you're gonna go acquire him, yeah, the $3.8 million number is great. You could work it in anywhere this year. So I think a team that's close can possibly go get him and then just use him as their own rental and see what they could do with this. I don't know if Columbus is ready to go into full-on rebuild, though. I think if you move Marchenko, then Zach Werenski's probably right out the door behind him. That's just me. I mean, you still have Adam Fantilli, who's an RFA right now. Like, what exactly is the plan that Don Waddell and everybody in Columbus is doing? But we're going to find that one out soon enough. The other part of it that I can't help but think about is, yeah, there's a lot of teams that could go after him. I mean, you know what? You mentioned the Rangers getting in on him. What about the Islanders, Anthony? I mean, could Marchenko be a fit for them?
They could surely use a guy like Marchenko. I mean, who really couldn't use a guy like him? He's big, shoots the puck well, has a nose for the net, good shot, good release. So yeah, he checks all the boxes there. I would welcome it. I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be traded. I mean, just the one source, yeah, it could be true, like I said, but no one else kind of here had been jumped on it or said anything about it really. So I have my doubts on it. But yeah, I mean, listen, if he's truly going to be traded, I think a lot of teams would be banging down the door. But for me, Montreal is the one that's mentioned a lot. I think they would make a huge play for him. But yeah, I think either of the New York teams could use him, or like I said, really any other team. It's just a matter of, is he actually going to be moved or not? Like I said, I don't know. I'm not 100% certain that this is all accurate yet.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I'm not 100% sure on this one either. But I mean, by the way, the other New York team, the last one that we didn't mention, the Buffalo Sabres, they'd be a great fit for him.
It's another team. They do have assets too.
And they got the assets. See, the reason why I roll my eyes as soon as you mention the Rangers being in on him, Phil, is because they don't have the assets. They basically traded every single first-round pick they're ever going to have, and except for one, and they need it so that way they can have flexibility this season and move up and down. And this is also what happens when you don't have a plan. When you don't have a plan, here we are. And where I have full confidence that the man down at the bottom of the screen, his GM, has got a plan. No idea what Chris Drury is doing. I think he's just throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks on there. But this is Marchenko is he's going to get a big pay raise in his next contract, and I think he could be a budding star within the next deal that he has wherever he goes. The question is just where it's going to be, and what the mystery team is. So I don't know. I wish I had more to input on this, but everything's so vague on this, and it's also the summer, and Anthony brought it up. It's just the rumors, but these were kind of getting hot and heavy. Like there were people that wasn't there something that said that this was finalized.
No one ever said it was finalized. No. The original report
or closing in.
Yeah, the source in Russia was just saying yes that the two teams were engaged with talks for him and all that kind of stuff, but no one ever said anything was done or anything.
Yeah. And after all,
that's Daria Tuboltseva or whatever her name is. I mean, maybe that seems like a lot though for Kirill Marchenko. You're gonna. I don't think they would give up anything more than Morgan Geekie straight up.
Yeah, and also, do you really want to give up Morgan Geekie? Like,
I would move him right now.
He's really coming into his own.
I mean, Mason Lowry a 1, and then one other prospect that would do it. I mean, I know they don't want to move James Higgins, but I mean, you're going to need a prospect that's up in that kind of area to probably get this deal done.
Yeah, and by the way, welcome to the show. I haven't seen your name before, but no, I wouldn't make that trade if I was the Bruins.
I don't think I would either.
As much as I just touted that I think Marchenko could be a superstar, I like the way Geeky was playing this year. And matter of fact, the last 2 years with the Bruins, this year and last.
I don't think Patras has the value anymore. I don't see it anymore. 2 years ago, maybe. I don't think now. I don't think he does.
All right.
Do you know by the way, the Daria, who's this rumor in Russia, you know that's Igor Orenko's wife.
That's his wife?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, she's been reporting on stuff for a while. I didn't know they were married.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, he was on Off the Post with Filk and I.
Yeah, that was back when he was like, for a minute, like anything Russian related, Igor Orenko was the guy. Like anything, the whole Kovalchuk saga, he was all over all of that when Kovalchuk came back those years back.
Yeah.
So
nice
guy.
I still every now and then I still talk to him on Twitter. I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he could provide any other insight on that.
All right.
Yeah, let me know what you get from him.
Yeah, I'm still working on trying to get some guests for the summer. I'd love to get a couple. Like I talked to my friends about trying to get us Rob Scuderi, and some guys are just gun shy about it. It's all right. You don't have to sit there and talk. Like Scuderi would be great. Long Island kid, you won a Stanley Cup with Sidney Crosby. I was about to say he played with him. No, he won a Stanley Cup with him. And then he goes to LA, wins one over there. And how do you go from we were talking about junior teams last week, Phil, apple core to 2 cups. And
yeah, exactly. Like he's probably the most successful player to ever come from the apple core.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the guys won a Stanley Cup from them.
That's a great question. I'll have to look through their all-time roster. All right. Should Jacob
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could have a level-headed conversation with Jacob Trouba. And I'm being polite when I say that one. But whatever. You know what? Everybody's got their own things, and maybe he'll throw a helmet and try to get emotional. All right. Guys, that's it for our A block. We're gonna go around the NHL and go with some NHL Bar Talk.
Let's kick it into high pace. Grab your mates, it's time to unlock NHL Bar Talk.
Layup, get the damn hoop.
We go shot here.
The easiest I've ever to answer.
I'm actually gonna go crazy. I'm gonna buy everybody around.
We're all in this game, let the good times shake.
And it's great to have you guys back with us on Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on these NHL topics based on our choice of drink. So confident you're buying around, so have a beer. Oh, my goodness, I need a shot. Play along down with us in the comments down below, guys. And as always, I always hype up the bar that I work at, Boss Croakers, because after all, it's Wing Wednesday. Tomorrow night, come on down, 40-cent wings, $2 tacos, $4 Millets, $4 Yinglings. All right. Let's talk about the new All-Star format that it's now 5 teams that they're doing. They're doing but they're doing like a world team instead of saying that specifically it's just a Russia team, which you could easily do that. And you have Igor Shesterkin, who's played in 2 All-Star games before in his career. By the way, IMDb, Hockey Reference, a little bit confusing with that one. Because he says he's a one-time All-Star, but he's played in 2 All-Star games. So
we just lost Anthony there for a second.
yeah, I think he said he had to run out for it. Yeah.
Oh, we had to run out. All right, never mind.
All right. So, but Phil, with the 3-on-3 format, you only need 2 goaltenders for the world team. So if you just go with, you got several different Czech goalies you could probably throw in there, like Jakub Dobiš or Lucas Dostal. But then you got the Russian goaltenders, Vasilevsky and Shesterkin. And there's another goaltender who calls that place home. So Igor Shesterkin will not play in the 2027 All-Star game at UBS Arena?
I'm gonna go beer. I think there is a possibility that may happen. Vasilevsky is the defending Vezina Trophy winner, so I could see a lot of votes going to him. But then again, this is going to be in New York. It's going to be on Long Island, and there's going to be a lot of Ranger fans that'll be there. But he cannot have one of his years where he needs another month-long mental reset. Otherwise, he won't get it because his fans will turn their backs on him, and they won't be voting for him. In order for this team to make the playoffs, I said that Igor's got to channel 21-22. Shesterkin. He's got to be that guy. So I'm not saying that he can't be. He can, and I think he'll have an easier time of it, with the top four that he has in front of him. If they all stay healthy, that top four playing 40-plus minutes a game in front of him is, that's massive. That's huge. He's never had a top four like that. So you got to see what that third pairing is. But again, he cannot have another year where his head is all over the place and he needs a month to get himself reset. So, I'll go with beer. I wouldn't say definitively one way or the other. Obviously, Sorokin's going to be in because he's the home guy.
He has to be in.
He's going to be in. So, and it's not that he's not deserving. I would say he's one of the top 5 or so best goalies in the league right now. So, I don't think Bussy's going to get it. I don't think you have to worry about Bussy. Sorry. I really don't. But, I'm going to go with beer just because I do think there is a chance. Again, Long Island is filled with both, and even Queens, both Rangers and Islander fans. You might even get more Ranger fans and Queens than Islander fans at this point. So I could see a world where it's the both of them, and then I could see a world where it's Vasilevsky and Sorokin. But I think Sorokin for sure has one of those spots.
I think it's got to be Sorokin. I think Islander fans are going to make sure that he's going to be there. And by the way, it's for the Islander fans, you're going to look at it and go, in my building, you think I'm going to let the Ranger come in and start over my Islander guy? Hell no. And that would be my response for that. I also look at this and say, what if Igor is having a season when he's definitively the best player on the Rangers, and they're going to send him instead? Ideally speaking, the guy that I would love to see in this game is Adam Fox, by the way, because Adam Fox grew up in Jericho, and he's going to be just, I'll use the term a stone's throw, but it's much longer than that. Obviously, Elmont and Jericho, they're not close to each other. They're basically has to go for both of them.
All things considered, it's a stone's throw.
All things considered, it's a stone's throw. But this is, and Vasilevsky is still way too decorated. But because it's also a world team, now you have to compete against Jakub Dovish, who just came off an excellent season, an excellent playoff run. Lucas Dostal, who won his first playoff series, and the first playoff series for Anaheim since 2018, if my memory serves me correctly. And who knows who could even emerge from this? And then what happens if you get the Great Dane, who's now reunited with his former coach Mike Babcock? More on him in a moment, and maybe he turns in a good season. This is going to be interesting, Phil. It's not a given that Shesterkin's going to make it. And also, let's not forget injuries. So Igor Shesterkin's also got a history of injuries too. He could miss it there, and maybe he wants to be fresh for the World Cup. There's another thing like that. And there's so many factors that play into this. I got to go beer on this one as well. I can't definitively say one way or another, but the NHL needs their stars there, and that's what's going to be interesting. The one way around this is if it's Shesterkin and Sorokin, and we've seen that in the past before.
I
Because
mean,
of
they're
course-
like best friends, so I'm pretty sure that's if it was up to Ilya, I think Ilya would want his buddy being his battery mate.
I love it that they're friends. I just really wish the rivalry came more into this. Like there used to be that rivalry between Dominik Hasek and all the elite goaltenders, and he would get irate when guys would sit out a game that he's going to be playing against them. And then
Yeah,
you see
well,
other guys-
Dominik Hasek was also he also had a few screws loose in his head. I would say the way that he was super competitive. But
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I also think that if the teams are both good at some point in the future, you'll see this as more of a rivalry. They need a playoff series for this to come back.
Yeah, I agree with that. And hell, I still can't believe it's been 32 years since the last Rangers Islanders playoff series, where I think the
Almost
previous,
had in 2015.
yeah, almost happened in 2015. And that certainly would have been an interesting series because those were two very good teams. All right, we're actually going to skip the Islanders question for a little bit. We're going to wait till Anthony gets back, and we're going to talk about whether or not Matthew Schaefer and his future captaincy with the New York Islanders. But let's skip over to one of the big signings that happened last week, Patrick Kane going back to Chicago. And if you look at him in Chicago, his last full season in Chicago, Phil, that was 21-22, 26 goals, 66 assists, 92 points. And then hip problems happened. He had the hip resurfacing, but he really didn't have as good of seasons in Detroit. They were okay. They were pretty good for like a normal player, but not somebody of Patrick Kane's superstar. However, Patrick Kane will be back to a point per game with Connor Bedard.
Is that specifically this year?
Yeah, we'll go with this year. You know what? I'll extend to next year. I think it's more
This year might
this
be
year than
tough
next.
because I think Bedard. I don't know how much time Bedard's going to miss. I don't. There was some rumor that came out that he might be ready for training camp, but I don't know if I believe that or not. I gotta go beer here. I gotta go beer. Just because I think we're looking at a situation where him and Bedard could have absolute magic together. They could be unbelievable. Kane is more of a playmaker of the two, and Bedard's got the better shot. Not that Kane's shot is anything to sleep on. But I mean, I could see maybe 80 at the max. It just a full season of Bedard and Kane could be something. And again, Bedard is entering his peak years. Like he, I mean, 24, 25, 26, 27. This is going to be his fourth season. So he's what, 20, 21 going on 22 years old. These are peak years for Bedard. So this is where you're probably going to get your very best out of him. Yeah, I got to go beer just because I think it's going to be tough. What does their power play configuration look like? Is he on that? If he's on that top unit, then that can help too. I'm not worried about Kane's age. Kane is so damn smart and talented, and his hands and his shot are still so good to the point where I think he might just be able to be a power play guy, kind of like Ovechkin was, and just not in the shooting aspect of it, but you know what? I'll let's talk. Okay. Second line money these days is about $8 million, $9 million. And that's why I keep asking everyone that shits on JT Miller and that contract. Where are you finding a second line center for $8 million right now?
That I do have to agree with you on that. Or Mika Zibanejad, if you want to say he's the second line center.
Ovechkin, I wasn't talking about last year. Ovechkin wasn't a point per game player, and Ovechkin's also a few years older than Patrick Kane. And Patrick Kane probably is a better skater at this point than Ovechkin, you ask me.
Yeah,
But-
that's where Filk. I'm gonna kind of quote Brett Hull when he talked about Wayne Gretzky. He said Wayne Gretzky will retire in his prime because the great passers never lose it. That's the funny thing. You can lose your shot a little bit. You can lose your skating ability. You're going to slow down. But the passers and the great passers, they do have it forever. Gretzky, you saw what he was able to do his last couple of years with the Rangers, and he was getting the absolute snot kicked out of him. But then you had guys like Adam Oates, who, he had 9 goals and 36 assists with the Anaheim Ducks his second to last season. But the 36 assists is what I'm drawn to. I'm going, see, he was still getting plenty of assists. That was in the dead puck era, and that was at the very tail end of his career. So I do think there's a chance that Kane could get up there. I do have to agree with you. The Connor Bedard injury, even if we want to try to factor in that he's going to be a point per game once Bedard returns, that could be a different story in there as well. I think he's going to be asked to do a little bit more with the Blackhawks, and I do think it's going to be more than just a farewell tour for him. And him getting his number retired with the Blackhawks now is now a shoo-in. But I think he's gonna be able to distribute that puck a little bit better on the power play than what they've had, and maybe get Bedard into shooting positions that he wasn't able to get to. If those two could play together, I think Bedard could be on a pace for a 50-goal season this year. That's, again, I'm saying the pace because obviously he's going to miss time. But I think this is probably a better suited team for Kane since 21-22. And I like the setup. Now it's just a matter of getting Bedard back in the lineup. And the Blackhawks still got plenty of other guys that they got to develop too. I mean, and maybe he can work with Frank Nazar and rub off on him a little bit more. All right.
Here, just one thing here real quick. 30, yeah, Ovechkin was 39. Ovechkin last season was 40. He had 32 goals and 64 points after an abysmal start. He had 44 goals in 65 games and 73 points as a 39-year-old. And that was with Washington having their major PDO year where they were due to regress the following year because their shooting percentages were all through the roof. I don't think Kane's not a guy that relies on crazy shooting percentage. Like if you look at his numbers over the years, like he's not a big guy that, hey, I need to have a high shooting percentage in order for me to be able to be productive. Like, no, it's just not the case. And honestly, the guy's more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. So he'll make the guys around him better. Kane's in a good place because of the fact that he's got younger guys that have wheels. And he can exploit that to his advantage. And being on the power play, I think that'll help him quite a bit because I don't think Chicago really has a great group that you're going to be able to kick him right off that power play this year. Like who are you kicking off the power play? Like, who would actually stay over him? Is Frondell going to remove him? I don't know about that.
Nope.
Would Nazar remove him?
Nope.
I mean, Ryan Donato, Tyler Bertuzzi. I mean, really, the only guy that you for sure you could say is ahead of him is Bedard on the depth chart. And then Bowen Byram's going to be the point man. So it's going to be Kane, Nazar, and someone else, I guess. Whether Frondell takes that spot or Bertuzzi, that'll be up in the air this year.
But Phil, even kind of echoing a little bit what you were saying just now, I mean, you look at Patrick Kane over his career, he was averaging 55.6 assists per season. and that was the younger Kane. Then you look at the last few seasons, 22, 23, up until last year, he was still kind of on that pace with 44 assists. I know I just sounded like I took off 11, but let's be honest. I mean, you played on a Ranger team that they were trying to spread stars everywhere. Then he played on Detroit, which was that was an okay team while he was recovering from hip surgery. Then you had then you have again Detroit again, 38 assists, 72 games, and then 41 assists in 67 games last year. He's gonna get his assists. That's the thing. Passers, I said it before, I'll say it again. Passers don't lose it. They can still hit that pass.
There's another thing you have to look at. He has 1,400 points right now. He's 24th all time in scoring. He's 7 behind Malkin. He probably wants to be able to pass Stan Mikita at 17 with 1,467 points this year. I can see him having 67 points. That would put him 17th all time, depending on what Malkin does, if Malkin's healthy and he's productive. But, I would imagine that Kane wants to break that 1,500 point mark and possibly go for the top 10 by the end of his. Well, I don't know if he's going to be able to get in the top 10, but I mean, at least into the top 15 by the end of his career.
Phil, let me add a bonus one in here, just to kind of get your thoughts on it, because I thought about this last night of using it, and sticking with Patrick Kane. Here I got the banner. Okay. Patrick Kane is the greatest Blackhawk of all time.
That's
a much tougher one.
That's tough. I don't know if I could put him ahead of Mikita yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. He'll pass Mikita in scoring, but Mikita did everything as a Blackhawk. Like all of his 1,467 points came as a Blackhawk. So he's the. I think Bobby Hull has him in goals, if I'm correct. Yeah, 610.
Yeah, Bobby's got 600.
Yeah, he's got 604 as a Blackhawk. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because Mike Gardner passed him as a Ranger. Actually, a bunch of guys passed him as a Ranger. Obviously, Shanahan and Yager.
Yager both did, yeah. Mikita has 4 scoring titles, 4 Art Rosses, 2 Hearts, 2 Lady Bings. He only won 1 Stanley Cup. And then Bobby Hull, he won 3, and then 3 Art Ross trophies, also 2 Hearts, and a Bing once. And
also 1 Stanley Cup.
1 Stanley Cup. But Hull led the NHL in goal scoring 7 times. So, I mean, that's insane. I can't do it yet. I still have him behind Hull and Mikita, just because I also don't think that. I mean, Kane had 1 MVP.
Yeah,
I mean, Hull and Mikita had 2, and they had it during a time where, I mean, you were dealing with Gordie Howe. You still had Gordie to deal with, Beliveau, Richard. Those guys were still like in their prime. Not a slight at Crosby, who I think is a better player than everyone, but outside of like Gretzky and Lemieux and those guys. But I can't do it yet. I can't.
Okay.
I think if Kane had 1 more MVP, I could, but the fact that he left and had, the time in with the Rangers and then the 2 seasons with Detroit, I mean, or 3 now, I should say.
It is 3, yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta go with those guys. Those guys were. I mean, Makita was only a Blackhawk. Hull had a very, very limited window in his comeback in his 40s with Winnipeg and Hartford that 1 year in 1980, and was still like not terribly far off a point per game player. So,
yeah, and I gotta say, I'm probably stuck on beer on this one as well, which I might as well just flash the graphic up. I'm definitely not going a shot on this because Makita and Hull is basically Tane and Taves. Taves and Kane. Kane and Taves. But Taves and Kane. And I mean, if you want to throw Duncan Keith in there in his prime, that was right there. But
I mean, he's probably number 4 for me, I think.
But I mean, he only won 1 Conn Smythe, but it's not like Patrick Kane was a passenger on any of those Stanley Cup runs. This guy was
each one of the big 3 won a Conn Smythe. Taves in 2010, Kane in 2013, and then Keith in 2015.
And all of them deserved it. Each time, all of them deserved it. And that's where it's kind of like, you know what? He's got a little bit more of a stake to that than what we're letting on. But we're going to give credit to the older guys. And I still think trying to compete right now is just as hard as when I was competing back then. Then it was so much concentration of talent. Now you got the distribution of talent, and you can't help but go, well, if it's Kane going to win one, then why didn't this one? He's still the only.
We really hadn't talked about a whole lot, actually.
Who? What?
Tony Esposito.
Yep. Tony Esposito's a good one.
He's got a claim to be arguably one of the greatest goalies of all time, and that's a guy that won 3 Vezinas, I think, with Chicago. Yeah, 3 Vezinas with Chicago and a Calder Trophy.
It still must burn him about Pete Stemkowski beating him, but that's a different story. Those two could argue about that in the great beyond eventually. But let's move on to the next topic, and let's look at the Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes. As Bezdrado was going around Finland, parading around. But you look at the Hurricanes last year, 8-0 versus the Metro teams that they faced. That was Pittsburgh Sorry, I said Pittsburgh Penguins. It's against the did it again. It was against the Ottawa Senators and the Philadelphia Flyers. So Ottawa, my bad. But anyway, they went right through. The Canes went right through and just steamrolled their way to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. They're also the only team in the Metro with a 100-point season, that 113-point season. And you can argue the second-place team did not improve themselves. So I can't help but ask this question, Phil. The Canes can already book their trip to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2027.
Shot.
Okay.
I still think they're a very good team, and they deserve to be the favorite right now. But I don't think you book your trip. If anything, Mark, this season should have shown you that you don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
This past season should have shown you, because anything could happen. Buffalo could get stronger, and they could go make a couple of deadline moves that put them over the top, for all we know. Montreal could get stronger. This team is back.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to be back. And I think if you look at any team and you want to say they're a favorite, it's that team. If goaltending is their one Achilles heel, you might not be able to even get to their goaltending because their offense is so damn good.
And their defense.
And their defense. Yeah, their defense is still solid. So Tampa Bay, I think they're going to have a healthy Victor Hedman. Some of their depth might have been compromised in the offseason, but I just think Brandon Hagel is going to be back. I think Braden Point's going to be healthy. Vasilevsky, as long as he stays healthy, they're a team that you got to look at the top and say, hey, you know. But I mean, there's other teams. And, hey, maybe Philly takes a step for all we know. Washington looks really good on paper. The only thing I think they need is a defenseman. They need a guy that can come in and eat 20-plus minutes a game and give them some points. And I think they would be a real handful to deal with, especially with the top 9 that they have. Their top 9 is one of the best in the league. But yeah, I don't know. I will say shot on this, but you never know who's going to come around and end up being that team.
Phil, I'm glad you brought up all the Atlantic Division teams, because if you want to talk about the division that had the fewest amount of 100-point teams, that would be the Pacific. They had 0. Second was the Metro with 1. Then you had the Central, which had 4. And I would not be surprised if Utah joins them to make it 5 this year. But then you go to the Atlantic. Atlantic had 5 100-point teams, because they had Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Montreal, Boston. Sorry, they had 4. Ottawa had 99, guys. I'm sorry. I was counting that in there. But still, you look at that Atlantic, and you look at the Florida Panthers, who are not only going to be back, but are going to be pissed off. And that team is going to want
a scary team.
That is a scary team. I do think the Bruins can eclipse 100 points again. I think Ottawa's going to fall back. I think Detroit's going to fall back. And so I think it could be as many as 5 Atlantic Division teams to actually get to 100 points, not just 99. Sorry, I was sort of treating it like it was 100 for a second. But the thing about it is, Phil, all those teams can't make the playoffs. And if it's the Florida Panthers versus Carolina Hurricanes in the first round, that might be the best first-round series we've ever seen. That's how good of a series that is going to be. Because the other thing kind of going into that is you're taking this and you're focusing on the Metro, which it seems like it's still a division that's a little bit more of a work in progress. The second place team is far away from Carolina right now, whoever it's going to be.
The question is Eastern Conference Finals. So the Canes have to go through the Metro and before they face the Panthers. And so, I mean, sure. I mean, by the playoff format, yeah. But, I mean, I think Washington is really a team that could come out and beat them.
Yeah.
I don't know about teams in the Metro, but Washington could really do some damage to them. And yeah, Carolina, they have the advantage in the speed department, but Washington improved on that quite a bit. Like, they went out and they got guys that are younger and faster. I mean, they got Alex Tuck, who is, I mean, he's no Jordan Kyrou. Jordan Kyrou is a real speed burner. He's one of the fastest skaters in the entire league. But they went out and they got him and Tuck. And, I mean, they added a guy like Brodzinski in their bottom 6, too. I know he may not play, but they also have a young guy that might be a Calder candidate in Ilya Protas.
Mm-hmm.
Alexei Protas' little brother. So,
what about Cole Hudson?
Another one too. That team is going to get younger and faster, and good on their management for identifying that they needed to do so, because they were old and slow these last few years. So good on them for identifying that. I think they're going to be a problem. And I honestly, would it shock me if Washington came out of the East? No. They go and they go and make a couple moves at the deadline. They get the defenseman that they need. They could do it.
I mean, that team is more loaded than Ben Affleck after seeing the bad flop of one of his movies. But this is, and I'm sorry, that's a joke on Ben Affleck, but I like Ben Affleck a lot. But the now we took the time to look at everybody chasing Carolina. Let's give some credit to Carolina real quick, because Carolina has now proven they can win a Stanley Cup. They could go toe-to-toe with every single team that they come up against. They had one of the most dominant runs of all time. I mean, hell, they only lost 3 games just to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. And if John Tortorella might have gone to Adin Hill, maybe they wouldn't have won a cup. Maybe they don't go to Brendan Bussey and go win a cup. They were a great team. Give them all the credit in the world. Now they know how to win. Now they know what it takes. And as you say, the story with the New York Islanders of Wayne Gretzky, when he said that's what it takes to win a Stanley Cup, never mind 4 in a row. Now Carolina knows what it takes, and that's what gives you that blueprint to go win another one. So Carolina can do that. The question is, though, when they go up against their nemesis is like Florida, it used to be the Rangers in the past. The Rangers did not make the playoffs. Sorry, I'm going to just still stay on that hill until they're eliminated, and it might be sooner than what you think. But you also got to look. Let me mention one more team. I know everybody's tired of me saying it, but I'll point out Pete DeBoer and the New York Islanders. The guy knows how to win, and he's bringing it to the island. Don't be surprised if they succeed as well next season.
I just wonder if they have the offensive weapons, and that's why I think a Kirill Marchenko trade would go a very, very, very long way for them, because right now as it stands, I don't know if that's why I highlighted that.
Yeah, I know, Dave. That's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't look down yet.
Yeah. So, but I think there will be an improvement with the Islanders. I worry about their offense same way I worry about the Rangers offense.
That's a good point, Phil. And now let's go to the guy. Do you know what coach in the league right now has got the most 100-point seasons?
What coach?
What active coach has the most 100-point seasons? He's got 10 of them.
I would imagine that's got to be Quenneville then.
Oh, sure. I forgot about Quenneville for a second. Well, yeah, Quenneville's got him beat. But this I was going to say is Mike Babcock's got 10 100-point seasons, and that's crazy to even think about. But he also hasn't coached a game since the shortened season, I believe, the 21. No, sorry, it was 1920 season, COVID shortened season. But Phil, he's now in Edmonton, and he's got the best player in the game that he's coaching, and you could argue the second best player in the game also that he's coaching. Mike Babcock will lead Edmonton to a 100-point season.
No, you were right. It is Babcock. Quenneville.
Okay, good. I thought Quenneville beat him in spades. He's got 10 more years.
I'm surprised that he had 9. I just looked it up because I was curious.
See, by the way, we're a self-correcting podcast, everybody. You guys know that.
Yeah, I mean, we get things wrong. It happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate just going beer and not like I don't like to be too boring, but I also don't just like to be a hot take machine for the sake of clicks and engagement and all that other garbage. But when I look at this team, I don't see a great team up and down. I don't. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about Evan Bouchard in a little bit. Obviously, you got 2 of the top 4 best players in the world right now. 5, I would say, if you want to move Draisaitl down to 5 because of Macklin Celebrini's emergence. I would say you got those guys, and then where's the depth around them? is Matt Savoy going to take another step? Because if Matt Savoy takes another step, that's huge for Edmonton. Their defense, I don't know if they necessarily got better by getting rid of Darnell Nurse, because I do think Darnell Nurse is a guy. Everybody, that thread was going around on Twitter. Did Jacob Trouba get too much hate? I think Darnell Nurse got too much hate. I think the contract was bad. I think he cashed in on that one really good year, just like Trouba did, funny enough. And a general manager that wasn't a good one, that was willingly dumb enough to hand over a sum of money that he didn't really deserve. But I look at the defense and I say to myself, what did they do? Does Ryan Shea, duplicate what he did in Pittsburgh with Edmonton? I mean, Freddie Anderson is definitely an upgrade over what they've had, but is he really the guy that can get them there to 100 points again? I mean, maybe in the regular season he can, but they went and they dropped, I think, like somewhere in the range of like 12 million on depth players and didn't bring in any guys that really break out and pop off at you outside of McDavid and Draisaitl. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has got to get back to like a point per game or 70 points, because if he's going to give you another 50-point season, and again, not bad at what he's making. Like his AAV is really good regardless of like what he does, as long as he's a 50-point player. His AAV is really good. But he's got to be more of a guy. Like he can't just be like, I'm just going to be a little passenger here. Connor, Leon, you guys drive the car. I'll just sit in the back and, slack off. He's got to be a guy that scores at least like 70 points. Because where the hell else is the offensive production coming from in this lineup? Like Kasperi Kapanen, you're not relying on him from him. You're not getting anything out of Vasily Podkolzin unless he somehow finds this insane spike in his development and just breaks out of nowhere. Zach Hyman, yes, when he was healthy, he was productive, but I mean, he's not a guy that makes the guys around him better. He's somebody who benefits from being around the net. Like, is Isaac Howard gonna do what we thought he was gonna do last year? Because it's really up to him and Savoy and Nugent Hopkins. Because if they don't produce, then I don't know how this team gets to 100 points.
Well, here's a good thing. At least we know Mike Babcock isn't controversial to young players now. But I wish I could tell you, Phil. I wish I could tell you. You have Tristan Jarry and Freddie Anderson in net. Freddie Anderson had the greatest success of his career under Mike Babcock. But you look at those numbers he was putting up last year; those are not starting goaltender numbers. And then you put him behind the Edmonton turnstile.
I don't think Anderson played under Babcock, did he?
Yeah, in Toronto.
Oh, that's right, in Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you were thinking Detroit.
No, I was thinking Anaheim. Then again,
okay. Well, that was Bruce Boudreau, and Boudreau, he had probably the second most amount of success he ever had. But it's one of those things. You can't look at a guy that's 37 years old and in that position. I know it sounds like we're talking out of both sides of our mouth, guys, but it's apples and oranges. You can expect a Patrick Kane to still produce because, again, like I said before, his passing is never going to go anywhere. Alexander Ovechkin can still produce because his shot isn't going to go anywhere because that guy is a mutant. But on the other hand, you get guys like Freddie Anderson and a lot of other guys that are 37 years old. That line, you put that line right there. Some guys defy it like Joe Pavelski. Most guys start the fade and a big-time drop-off. They just go, boo! And you look at Anderson's numbers last year, and now I got to punch them up for us to get there. Freddie Anderson, they're not.
Oh man! Only if Ovechkin's his first name was Piotr, then we could call him Colossus. Because you're right, he is a fucking mutant.
I know he is.
I mean, Colossus is Russian, so it's friggin' perfect.
874 save percentage, 305 goals against. That was Anderson in the regular season last year. That is horrible. And then when you sit back and go, oh, at least I could turn to another guy. Who? Tristan Jarry, who is a 386 save percentage. Goals against, and a 857 save percentage. Like this is a joke in Edmonton. I don't think they're getting. You know what? Phil, you're right about it. We don't want to just say beer all the time and just going to say it. I'm going to outright say it. No, they're not going to make it. It's a shot. I'll put it up there. I'm trying to put it up there. They're not making 100 points in the season. It is not happening.
You know what? I hate to change my answer and have the same answer as one of you guys just because I don't like doing it. But I think you convinced me of it. I think I'm going to go Chateau. I just that, and then not only that, but something I didn't factor in when I was doing my numbers on this, but like the teams in that division too. I think LA is going to be a little better this year, just because they're going to have a full year of Artemi Panarin. Vegas is going to be Vegas, and they're going to be pissed. Anaheim, I think, is going to be better because their guys. Leo Carlson, if he plays a full 84 games, what are you getting from that Anaheim team? Because that Anaheim team is loaded with young talent. Beckett Seneca in his second full year. I mean, I don't think he's going to sophomore slump. That's just me. Macklin Celebrini and the improved San Jose offense and defense. I mean, I'm not really worried about Seattle, Calgary, or Vancouver.
Nope. We'll get into that in a minute too.
That division, it's going to be a dogfight between those other 5 teams.
Yeah, and the new coach in Vegas, his name is escaping me at the moment, but he's going to be a factor. But yeah, more mature Jackson McComb. Yeah. There's a lot. It's so funny because the Pacific Division.
Craig, by the way, they're
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pacific Division has got Vegas and Edmonton trying to hold on. And you got these future teams coming up like Anaheim, San Jose, and even LA is trying to hold on too. We could put them in there. So you got the vets trying to hold on, and you got those teams with the futures coming up. I like the teams with the futures because they look like they're getting into position to truly be great. And I would not be surprised on the Anaheim Ducks soon enough. They're really like they could do something, but let's see what that contract just did. And yeah, they're going to take a step back. David, I sort of agree with you on this one. I think that's like they might take a step forward, but not as much as I'd want. San Jose is going to take a tremendous step because getting any defense in front of whoever goaltender they're going to use. Does Yaroslav Askarov actually just mature a little bit more? We'll see about that one, because if he does, hey, more power to you. So that's the way that if they could have solid goaltending, San Jose could be really dangerous. And guys,
what's Terry going to be out for though? Because I mean, he had hip surgery at the end. Oh no, he had hip surgery in June. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So he had hip surgery in June, and they say 5 to 6 months. Are we looking at November? Or are we looking at December, the end of December,
or potentially January?
Yeah, like is he coming back in January? Is he coming back in November? Like I don't know what we're doing with Troy Terry. So I mean, yeah, David, you may be right about this.
Yeah. And let's get over to the next one, guys. The last one. Unfortunately, Anthony's not going to be back with us, so this is our Islanders one that we have in here. But a quote that came out of Matthew Schaefer this week: "It would be such an honor to be named captain, but at the end of the day, we have so many leaders like Bo Horvat and Braden Shen. I'm in no rush." So, Phil, I do have to ask you this question: Islanders will not make Matthew Schaefer captain at any point in his career.
Shot. I don't even have to think about this. This is a shot layup. No, he's going to be captain. I would put not that I have much in like terms of life savings, but I would put whatever amount of money I could conjure up on this. Schaefer, yeah, this right here. Schaefer is going to be the guy that loves this franchise so much that he is going to be the one that's going to be the leader. He's going to be the example. He's going to take the pay cut. He is going to be the Islanders version of Jalen Brunson. He's going to be that guy. I can see that. I think the way this community has been so good to him with everything he's been dealing with since, his draft year. And I think this fan base loves him. I think he loves it here. And as someone who just spent a lot of time in Florida, I don't know if I could see myself spending summers in a place other than Long Island, because summers here are incredible. Mm-hmm. This is a great place to live if you can afford it. And I think that kid's going to be okay money-wise. So as long as the guy in charge makes the right decisions, which I don't think any Islander fans have anything to worry about. You mentioned it before. The guy in the city, we don't know what he's going to do, and we don't really have faith in him. The guy on the island, he seems like he has a plan. So I think this right here nails it too. He's charismatic. He's absolutely lovable. He's a guy that you can market. I think the NHL wants him to stay in this market. I think the NHL would like the Islanders to be a very good team again. And I think Matthew Schaefer could be the face of that. I think they want big superstars in big American markets. And I think this is one of the next big superstar defensemen. You talk about, what's funny? Everybody thought Luke Hughes was going to be this guy that was going to come up and score like 70 points and be like a Norris caliber type defenseman. Matthew Schaefer, to me, screams point per game, Norris winning defenseman one day. And I think the NHL would want to keep him there. No, he's going to be a captain. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I mean, Bo Horvat. Does he really pop off at you as captain?
Yeah, actually, he does. He was captain of the Canucks, and I believe Bo Horvat's a captain.
Like they were a good team, but really, I don't know if he's going to hit 100. I'm not going to say it's not possible, just because I think the skating is phenomenal. I think the shot's going to get better as he adds more muscle and mass. The dude scored 23 goals as a fucking rookie. As an 18-year-old, that probably, if he wasn't hurt last year, probably would have been able to do a lot more in the gym over the summer. So, yeah, I think he's at least a 30-goal defenseman at one point. I wouldn't be shocked if he tries to challenge for 40. And the last time we've seen that, you know who that was.
I'm actually going to go beer on this one, and I'm going to go into a couple different reasons. And let's go with first on this one. You're right about this, Phil. This kid embraces the area that he came to. This is what you always want to see from a top overall draft pick. You want to see them come, not only embrace the franchise and try to do his best for the franchise, but embrace the community around him. And he has done that in spades since the second he donned an Islander jersey. Once that happened, bam, he's right there. Now, you also have other guys like Matt Celebrini is in there, and he's oozing San Jose Shark. It's a far cry from Lindros, who didn't want to be in Quebec at the time. And really, sometimes you have to slap yourself to remember Alexei Lafreniere was drafted first overall, even though I still think I don't have many negative things to say about him as a person on that, but yeah, he could be the second. Actually, I'm going to say he might be. I'd say better than Paul Coffey because I think he's better defensively. But
that's tough to say because Paul Coffey, we all know wasn't the greatest defenseman in terms of his defense, but it's insane to think that we're talking about him being better than Paul Coffey already. I do think this kid's gonna have a great career. I think he's got one or two Norrises to his name. I think once like McCarr and Hughes and those guys are really out of their prime, I think he's going to dominate. One guy that I would look out for, though, and he's going to be upcoming in this year's draft, and they're talking about him as like the next great defenseman, Landon DuPont.
Okay.
That's a guy that could come up in these next couple of years and really start tearing the shit out of this league. So
now, but by the way, Phil, when you get guys that go to organizations and they go to cities, and like I said, they embrace the community. I'm going to use there's going to be two New York Rangers I'm going to use for examples for the rest of this. One is obviously Rod Gilbert. Rod Gilbert, who born and bred in Canada, I think he played for Guelph was his junior team, but comes to New York, and he's so enriched in New York that he was giving the safety lectures for the Long Island Railroad. If you ever stood on,
no, he was the junior Canadians. There was a great Ranger that played for Guelph, though. Was it Hatfield?
I thought he said he played in Guelph, and that's where he had the injury that he nursed himself back from.
St. Catherine's Teepees was Hatfield. Who was it Bathgate then?
Maybe it was Bathgate.
Bathgate was Guelph. It was the Guelph Biltmores. They weren't the Storm.
Yeah, the Storm was Manny Malhotra. I knew because that's when I played on a team called the Storm, and it's when I really had the Guelph Storm as a thing. But also, when I think about this, Phil, I can't help but also think about Brian Leach. And yes, Brian Leach, born and bred New Yorker, and sorry, not born and bred.
No, he was. Well,
what I meant is born in Texas, raised in Connecticut. When he came to New York, he assimilated to New York so well. Met his wife here. Great story. But also, the one blemish we could look at Brian Leach in his career was he was a guy that the sea had extra weight on him. And you don't want to see that happen.
All right. I'm going to stop you right now.
Okay, go ahead.
He was also given the C at the wrong time.
Correct.
Because when he was given it, that was when they spiraled into that bad period. Because one, they didn't have a backup plan for losing out on Sakic. They shoved Messier to the curb because they were googly goggly la la face over heart eyes over Sakic, and they didn't have anything in place to go as a backup plan to Sakic. They didn't sign anybody on defense because they needed somebody to add to Leach and Driver and Bukaboom. They needed another guy to come in because, we're just going to deal Matthias Nordstrom for 34-year-old Yari Curry, who was literally cooked by the time that they traded for him. Give away Ray Ferraro, give away LaPerriere, give away Nathan Lafayette, and ruin our season in 96. So they didn't do anything to replace Nordstrom, who they needed and who would have been an excellent compliment to Brian Leach for 10-plus years. Mm-hmm. They did nothing to that. They needed another guy to come in that was a legitimate top four defenseman. So, no, they didn't address that. They brought in Keane and Skrudland. Yeah, that's great. You needed those two guys. But those two guys and Pat LaFontaine couldn't have been your offseason. And then what do they do the next year? Nothing. They bring in Kevin Stevens, who was also cooked. Because, let's not replace Pat Verbeek and his 40 goals and 80 points. That was a smart move. And all he got from Dallas was what? $3.9 million over 3 years? Or, I'm sorry, $12.9 million over 3 years? That's all you had to give him to keep Pat Verbeek, who was an excellent fit with Messier and Graves? This was so dumb. You know what? As much as I love Neil Smith for the 94 Cup, some of the decisions he made afterwards were just
Well, again, Phil, the question was, and we talked to Neil about this when we had him on, and Neil still regrets that decision of trading away Nordstrom and the guy that he stole from Keenan in LaPerriere, which, by the way, he did. But you look at this, and yeah, Leach took over as a captain in the wrong spot. I also don't think Leach was the captain. He would, and yeah, goddamn Air Force One. That is right about that one.
Yeah.
That I watched that recently, and I think about just isolating a video on that one based on our interview and your spot that you did.
I love Harrison Ford, but I also hate Harrison Ford for that. And I know it's not Harrison Ford's fault, but damn you, Harrison Ford.
But can't help but point this out, though, Phil, that just Leach couldn't get the captaincy off his shirt fast enough when Mets came back. Yes, also it was because his best friend left.
Anyone was going to give it back up to Messier, though. He had the reputation.
Yes. However, that was a divorce that shouldn't have happened, and a rekindling that, unfortunately, wasted 3 years of the best of what was left of the prime of Mark.
We'll say it again. If they had gotten Yager in 2001, that playoff drought probably doesn't go as long as they did. And if they'd gotten Yager in 2001, then maybe Leach scores like 70 or 80 points in that 2002 season because he still had it.
But again, going back to Matthew Schaefer, though, I do think the fact that this kid is so laid back, just had the captaincy duties go to other people. He's acknowledged it right now. He says that there's Braden Shen, there's Bo Horvat. There are other guys that could take up the mantle before him if he's ready some point, maybe. But this is, it's not anything that's important right now. Just keep developing this kid. Don't worry. The sky is still the limit. All of us see it in him. He's still going to be something special for years to come for this organization. All right.
Horvat, just to end this on this note, Horvat's got 5 years left on his deal. And this year is the only year that it's a full no trade. The final 4 years are a 16-team no trade list. So it's something to think.
That is something to think about, and that's something to think about as it moves into the future. And also, is there anybody on the horizon that maybe Matthew Darsh is looking at? And we'll see about that one, and we'll see about that one soon enough. Let's go to the Big Apple Hockey Pick'ems as soon as this wants to work. Yeah, my internet's been slow today, so I swear this doesn't happen all the time.
I've got a gut feeling.
You want me to do two things?
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Now shoot!
Now, unfortunately, it does appear on that, and I might have to take it out in future times, but I do like the Gypsy version, the Gypsy Kings version of Hotel California. You could barely hear it in the back of that one. But welcome to Big Apple Hockey Pick'ems. We're going to throw these out there, and we're going to pick them. It's that simple. So, Filk, Sidney Crosby last year clinched the record for the longest point per game seasons in NHL history at 1.09.
Consecutive. Most consecutive.
My bad.
It's fine.
More clear is the way you would put it. But he had 1.09 last year, over or under in 26-27.
Comes down to health for me. And he only played 68 games out of a full 82, so he missed 14 games. There's nothing I put past this guy. There really isn't. He's just that damn good. I wouldn't be shocked if he scores 100 points this year. It wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying he's going to, but there's just one thing I've learned. It's just you do not sleep on this guy. He is just that good. I do wonder about their roster. Their roster's not the greatest, but and again, this was in 2006, but he did have Andy Hilbert scoring a point per game. Like, this is a guy that has turned players, just inferior players, into guys that were nearly household names. If you look at their lines, like Raquel, Crosby, and Rust is a top line, okay. And then your second line is going to be Chinikov, Novak, and Malkin. Some combination of Novak and Malkin as a winger. I mean, does Ben Kindle get off the third line? Do they move Novak down to the third line and Ben Kindle plays with Malkin? I mean, that power play could be a combination of Crosby, Raquel, Malkin, Kindle, and Erik Karlsson. Like, I think, because I think they're going to probably start taking minutes from Chris Letang because of his age and, his health over the years. So I'm going to go over. Over. I think I just think he's incredible. Right now, he's probably got to go down as probably the 6th best player of all time. I mean, that could maybe change by the end.
By the way, do we disagree with number 5?
Who do you have in number 5?
Messier.
Yeah, we disagree.
Okay, who's your 5?
So, 1, Gretz. 2, I know a lot of people are going to look at me and they're going to say, whoa.
Any one of the order of the 4 you got. Go ahead.
I put Orr at 2. I just think Orr was so. We will never see another player that dominates at 200-foot game ever like that again. If not for Orr, you don't have Coffey, you don't have Niedermeyer or Leach, you don't have any of these guys that you're looking at. You just don't. Orr changed everything we know. There's no McCarr, there's no Hughes, there's no Heiskanen, there's no Fox. None of them exist without Orr. Howe at number 3, because of his dominance to his peers. We never saw dominance like that before Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe dominated at a level. There were no seasons before Howe that I remember looking up where the scoring leader led the second highest score by like 15 or more points before that. Gordie was dominating on another level, and he was doing it against some legendary, and I don't just mean Hall of Fame, I mean legendary contemporaries. So, and then I put Lemieux after Gordie because Lemieux just didn't dominate until Gretzky kind of fell out. And then obviously the Suter cross-check at the 91 Canada Cup and everything. Right now, I would, at 5, I know this might be crazy to some. I think I might have to go Hasek at 5.
Okay. That's interesting. Now,
you will never see another 8-year run that like the one Hasek had. I'm sorry, you're just not going to see it.
Yeah, because I don't know where to place goalies yet. That's why I almost put goalies are on their own list.
I
know do weigh centers being heavier.
Yeah, I understand that, but in terms of sheer dominance, Dominik Hasek, he literally dominated the greatest goaltending generation we've ever seen. If it's not for Hasek, Belfour probably has another Vezina or 2. Waugh probably has another Vezina or 2. Joseph may have won a Vezina.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the guys that he won Vezinas over. And the only reason why he doesn't have 7 out of 8 was because he was hurt in 99-2000.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he probably would have won it then over Polzik. And then for sure he would be tied with Jacques Plante for the most Vézinas of all time, and he would be considered universally the greatest of all time. I know the longevity favors Brodeur, yada yada, all the counting stats because he played so many more years, but Hasek he's the most dominant. He is the only other player outside of Gretzky and Orr that dominated at his position to that level.
Okay. I mean, because usually whenever I talk about some of that, I talk about who the second best is right after that. And when your next second, if you want to say one is Hasek definitively, when two could either be Waj, Jacques Plante, Martin Brodeur, or, my opinion on Ken Dryden, that's a pretty stacked cast too. And I think that is worth a conversation for later on in the year. But Sidney Crosby, though, just to answer on this one, I'm going to go. He's going to be over this number because he's just that good. He's just going to refuse to let the Penguins be bad, and that's another reason why, everybody wants to see or expecting to see the Penguins plummet from 98 points. They might actually get slightly better. All right, Phil, let's look at a guy that scored 95 points last year, Evan Bouchard. Now, he had 95 points, and I think we're still on, 6 defensemen with 100 points in the season?
Yes, 6.
6 defensemen with 100 points in the season. Could he be
Or
number
Potvin,
7?
Coffey, McInnes, Leach, and Carlson. So
Carlson.
6.
So Evan Bouchard, more or less points than 100.
Less. The power play could change that. I mean, that 1-2-3 on the power play of him, Draisaitl, and you remember, Draisaitl doesn't get hurt, and he's healthy. I mean, he may get those 5 points. I mean, you got to remember, Leon missed 17 games and still had 97 points. That's how good Leon is. So I'm gonna say less, but I wouldn't be shocked if I end up being wrong here.
You know what? I'm gonna go with more. And I think one reason why you could think less is that you're gonna have a coach like Mike Babcock coming in, and he's gonna go, this kid needs to play better defense. It wouldn't surprise me if they just turn him loose instead, and they let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I don't know if I see Babcock doing that.
Yeah, but the thing is he really a good defensive defenseman? Can he really learn it? We got the history of guys going backwards like Yzerman, and not backwards, but being better defensively. Yzerman, Madonna, even Mario under Scotty Bowman and when he won his first cup. But I mean, this is kind of something that I think they might just look at him and go, all right, kid, you tried it our way. We're going to try it your way. Go ahead, go get him. And maybe he does go over 100 points next year. And like you said, a healthy Draisaitl, a pissed off Connor McDavid, who is tired of not having success. And also now he's not even the highest paid player in his own division and by a long shot, and even his own team. So let's see what is dialed up for the Oilers this season. I think they might need Bouchard to just be the offensive player because that's his strongest aspect. Speaking about which, who's going to have more points next season, Jack Eichel or Kirill Kaprizov?
I think I'm going to go Kaprizov just because they don't really require him to play much defense. I don't know why you would even try to do that with a guy that talented. This guy that had 100 points in Minnesota a few years ago when they had like absolutely nothing around him except for like Matt Zuccarello and Ryan Hartman. I mean, Matt Boldy wasn't there yet. And by there, I mean like an established like point per game player like he is now. But yeah, I'm gonna go Kaprizov. I just think that he's so good that you're gonna look at him and you're gonna see him just, if he's healthy, he's good for 100 plus. I wonder if they also make another move, if they try to make a move before the season starts. But I know Zuccarello's in LA now, so they've lost some depth. But really, I don't know. I like Eichel, and I like that combination with Marner. But those are two like legitimate two-way forwards. You're gonna look at them and say to yourself, you know, hey, these guys will give you 90 points and they'll shut the opposition down like they did this year. So, he's one of them. He's got to be up there. They knew that they were going to have problems getting him over, and they still took the chance anyway.
When was he drafted?
He's like a late round pick. I think like a fifth or something. Kaprizov.
Yeah, because I'm going to start working on a video, by the way, of the
fifth round, 135 in 2015.
Yeah, but around that time, you start taking chances. I mean, Lou Lamoriello used to draft all the Soviet players when people were kind of laughing at him for it, and then
that was Jim Devellano. Jim Devellano was the guy that really started that.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, he also did get Fatizov over, and eventually Casatonov.
Yeah, Lamoriello did get Fatizov, but yeah, I mean, Devellano was the guy that really jumped in on the Euros before everybody else did. You got him. That 1989 draft might be the greatest draft ever from any team.
Okay. That's something to look into in the future.
Yeah, go look.
We got two more pick'ems left to go, guys. Let's go with who will finish worse in the 26-27 season, the Calgary Flames or the Seattle Kraken.
I'm going to go Calgary. No, worse. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Seattle. I think Calgary is going to be the better team. I think Dustin Wolf could steal them a bunch of games. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Calgary here because, or Seattle being the worst of the two teams. I'm sorry, just because I don't know where the hell are they getting offense from. Excuse me.
They're not getting it with Lane Lambert. That's the answer. He doesn't coach offense, and
Even just Lambert. That's the problem here, though. Look at their lines. They bring in Bobby McMahon. Are they hoping to do Jared McCann 2.0 with him, where he gets a 40-goal season? Okay, Mackie Samoskevich. All right. What's happening with Shane Wright? Is he going to even?
That's a
be
great
there?
question.
You have an aging Jordan Eberle on your top line. Is that going to be the case? Are you expecting Capo Caco to take the next step? I mean, what is this? Seattle's fifth year now?
Yeah.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26. No, this is their sixth year. Sixth year. This is their sixth year now. And they look like an expansion roster still. What the hell?
Yeah, because Ron Francis did not retool this team fast enough. And I think they tried to play a little footsie with having a future and preparing for that, but also not, and trying to prepare for the present. I think they got a little bit of fool's gold when they beat Colorado. Part of that to do with, I mean, what was going on with Kale McCarr in that series for starters. But I think it's gonna be Calgary. Calgary, I can answer who's in net. And I like Joey Decord. But the Kraken, like, what's their philosophy? What do you do? It's sort of like Office Space, Phil. Hey, Seattle, what would you say you do around here?
The Bobs. Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
who's the Michael Bolton in this equation?
let's see. Who would be the Michael Bolton on Seattle? Somebody that's getting upset over nothing. I got to go to their roster and actually look at that.
Maybe Matty Beniers is the Michael Bolton.
Matty Beniers would be a good candidate for Michael Bolton. Let's see.
Here's what I was getting at. Their expansion roster looked better than their team does now. That's the sad part.
I'll tell you what. How about this for the Michael Bolton? Chandler Stevenson.
Oh no,
What?
that's got to be Peter.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, then in that case, I guess Michael Bolton's got to be
Peter. Beniers is definitely the one that's probably angry. Yeah, you're right. Who's?
Oh wait, how about this?
Not going to work here anymore.
Yeah, Shane Wright. Shane Wright is the. Shane Wright's the Michael Bolton. Shane Wright is Michael Bolton.
Oh no, Shane Wright is not to get dealt supposedly, so he's got to be Samir. Not gonna work here anymore.
Yeah, not gonna work here anymore. Yeah.
Who's Milton? Oh my god. Oh, maybe.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Who is Milton?
No, Shane Wright's Milton. Shane Wright is definitely Milton. I'm going to burn this building to the ground.
Go back and set the building on fire. I mean, maybe I'll go with him. I mean, it's a lot better than Philip Grubauer. I mean, yeah, that's what the sad part is. All right, one more for you guys. Wait, hold on, Phil, what do you got?
No, I was going to say, if you look at Calgary's roster, at least I could sit there and say, you know what? All right, Connor Zary could maybe do something. Jonathan Huberdeau, if he's healthy, maybe he gets you 65, 70 points like he did 2 seasons ago. I mean, Igor Sharangovich is capable of 25, maybe 30 goals. Michael Backlund, 50 points and 2-way play. I don't like Morgan Frost as my number 1 center or Matvei Gridin as my top wing, but Matty Coronado, I think, has a very good future. I think he's a guy that could be a 30-plus goal guy. So,
and I do think Zane Parekh and their blue line is looking pretty good with Keaton Verhoff being added to that too.
Seattle has a better blue line than Calgary does, though.
Right now. Yeah, right now. This is now. And what's happening now is happening now. But I think in the future, it will be Calgary.
Sure, but we're not talking about going forward. We're talking about right now.
By the way, who do you think fell off the face of the earth with a louder thud or I guess a softer thud? And that would be Elias Pettersson or Jonathan Huberdeau. Like just
it's Pettersson for me because Pettersson there was no worry about he's not playing with Barkov anymore. That was going to be that was the question. What was he going to do away from Barkov? Pettersson, it just I don't know what the hell happened to him. At least Huberdeau, I mean, this too, he's never really fit with their systems. So I would love to see him like outside of Calgary and like with some good talent and see maybe if he could get back to 80, 90 points. I don't know if he will at this point or not. I mean, I think it's very unlikely. But if he could get back to like 70 to 80, like, okay, then you could just say, hey, he had nothing around him in Calgary. No great centers there. And, Pettersson was a guy that in the late 2010s and into the earlier part of this decade was a guy that was looked at as like a point per game player.
Yeah.
And it just the whole Miller controversy, just that was it with him. Mentally soft.
It's such a curious case. I can't even explain it. And one last one, Phil. Who do you think is going to win a playoff series first? The Islanders, the Rangers, or the Mets?
I'm going to say the Islanders. I just think they're a little. I could see a world where the Rangers, if they make the right moves, they could get back to the playoffs and win some games. But I just don't trust the general manager right now. I just don't.
Nope.
I don't, and I trust Matthew Darsh a lot more than I will ever trust Chris Drury. So I'm gonna go with the Islanders here, just because I do think they're a little closer. Again, the biggest thing for both teams is the offense. The offense is really what it comes down to, because I don't think either team has a great offense. I think the Rangers is probably a little better than the Islanders right now, just because I think they have a better 1-2 punch at center, unless Barzal goes back to center. And I mean, Richie's maybe the third line center at that point, but then I don't know if that benefits anybody. But the Islanders, they need, I would say, 1 or 2 forwards, and the Rangers need at least 1 forward in that top 6.
It's scary to think about it like this. And by the way, my answer is the Islanders anyway. But it's scary to think about this, Phil. The Rangers were shut out 9 times last year, almost 10. They were 48 seconds away from that in Nashville. Johnny Brzezinski scored a meaningless goal. Their offense was so bad, it was a punchline. And you traded your number 1 point getter over the last 7 years. Rangers finished 23rd in offense. 6 goals better than the Islanders, who didn't feel like that. It was even more shocking, Phil. Rangers finished 9 goals ahead of the Devils. Yikes. And the Devils are the ones that are supposed to be the offensive team. That's why it's like with some of these things, you're going, wait a minute. You delve into the numbers, and Bill Parcells had the line, sooner or later you are where your record says you are. And in the case of this, what?
No, I just went,
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that is what it is. All right, guys. We'll play a quick game of Puck Doku, me and Phil together, and then we're going to take some of your questions before signing off for today. So, Phil, let's go through this, and let's get it up there for you. Everybody, we have Carolina, Carolina, Atlanta / Winnipeg, and Buffalo for your x-axis. Your y-axis is the Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers, and 400 assists. Phil, we're doing this together, so where do you want to start?
Go with, we'll start at the top left. I'll go with Robert Cron.
Robert Cron going on the top left. And the former, I believe he was a Whaler when he was there.
Yeah,
all right.
He was a Whaler. Go to the next to the right for Atlanta / Winnipeg and Vancouver. Go Yannick Tremblay.
Okay. 0.8.
Edmonton and Buffalo. This series is going back to where Jimmy Hoffa is, Dave Hannon. Maybe Rick Jenner's greatest goal call ever. Dave
that is
Hannon
a great one.
on the backhand. I got a former Ranger for Carolina, Hartford, Carolina, and Edmonton. Stephen Rice.
Stephen Rice, who was in the Mark Messier trade, as we had detailed last week.
Why, you got one?
No, I was thinking about Teppo Numminen over here.
No, that's going to be too much.
Okay.
I could tell you right now that would be too high.
Okay. Let's see. Oilers and
Buffalo and Vancouver. I got one. Former Ranger defenseman Grant Ledyard. Top right.
Grant Ledyard. Yep. Do you think Kelly Bushberger would be too high right here?
Yeah, he'd be too high.
Yeah.
I think I have one there. Daniel Tarnquist.
Okay.
No, TJARN.
There he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Tornquist, 0.7. So now we need 400 assists in their career for Carolina, Hartford / Atlanta, and Buffalo. I don't know, Dad, get the 400 assists in his career?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Nope, he did not. He didn't even get the 300.
Oh, okay. I got one. Forgot he played for Hartford. For Carolina and / Hartford and 400 assists, go Pierre LaRouche.
Ah.
Former Ranger.
Yes. I believe he had a 49 goal season with the Rangers. Okay.
Buffalo, try Doug Bodger. Always their top-rated defenseman in NHL 94.
0.7. And all right, 400 assists.
This is fucking tough.
Yeah. 400 assists for this franchise.
You don't want to use Mark Recchi because that's going to be too high. Keith
No.
Tkachuk is also going to be too high. Marian Hossa is going to be too high. Slava Kozlov is probably going to be somewhere between 5 and 10%, I would imagine. Mark Savard's going to be way too high because I think he still holds their record for most assists in a season if it's not Scheifele.
Yeah.
Scheifele might have broken that this past year. Did Scheifele hit 70 assists this year? Because he would have that.
He broke 100 points. I believe he did.
No, he didn't hit 70. He didn't hit 70, but I wonder, he had 67 assists this year. I know Savard's number with them was somewhere in the 60s, maybe low 70s. No, not Dennis Savard, Mark Savard.
Yeah, I know. Mark Savard.
Mark Savard did have 400 assists, obviously. No, 69 assists was Savard's mark with Atlanta in 06. So that was the high for that. Heatley's going to be too much. You know what?
Howard Chuck. No, I was going to say Howard Chuck, but that's the wrong franchise.
No, wrong franchise. Try Bobby Holik.
Okay, we'll try it. Bobby Holik. Does that get there? He does. We have unique to score 0.
Wow.
Excellent work, Filk.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that would be, because they don't have a lot of great playmakers over the. I was going to say Ferraro, but I thought Ferraro would be too well known.
Well, Holik was right there. Let's see. You had Matthew Schneider that could have been in there. I forgot he even played for them. Andrew Burnett.
Wow, yeah, I forgot Matthew Schneider was a Thrasher.
I did not think Andrew Burnett made it. That's the thing. Holik was
Andrew Burnett was lower than Bobby Holik.
Yep. They're both 0.9, but he was just slightly lower. And then Murray Craven, 400 assists in his career. James Patrick.
Craven played for the Thrashers?
No. This is now Carolina.
Carolina. Oh, okay. I was about to say I can't wait. Murray Craven got 400 assists?
Yeah, over his career.
Shit, wow. I know he started in like mid-late 80s. No, he started early. Oh, wow. His first year was in 83 and he went to 2000. Oh,
This is the guy I should have got. I should have gotten Gary Galley. And of course, Tim Horton, known for his coffee all around the world, but not necessarily his hockey as much anymore.
Man, I could go for some Timbits right now.
All right, Phil, you got for the pyramid 20 plus goals in the season, 40 assists, played for the New York Islanders. He had 400 games played in his career, played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then played for the Montreal Canadiens.
Is that there? It looks like they're talking about Tom Curvers.
Looks like Tom Curvers, Anthony's favorite guy to say. But first,
This
20
looks
goals.
like they're going towards Tom Curvers, if you ask me.
So we'll save him for the end. And
yeah, I would. All right, hold on. I want to check something real quick because I know Curvers as a defenseman he fits the games. He fits all the teams. And
I want to get out of the box for you.
Curvers never had a 20-goal season. Shit.
Okay. So we're gonna have to come back to that one. No, wait. What? Nope. Yeah, Curvers never had a 20-goal season.
Yeah, never had a 20-goal season. I don't think Jason Blake played for Montreal.
Well, let's get it started. Let's see if we can figure it out on the way there. First, 20 goals in a season. Let me go out to a guy that probably doesn't get much love, Nicholas Sundstrom.
Okay.
All right, 20 goals and 40 assists in a season.
20 goal. Did Karl Tanov had 40 assists that year?
I thought he did. I thought he had an outstanding.
Yeah, he did. Karl Tanov had 30 goals and 42 assists in 93. You can do that, or Nikolai Borshevsky. Or actually, you know what? Keep Borshevsky for Toronto. Keep Borshevsky for Toronto.
But remember, Borshevsky had to play for the Islanders.
Shit. That's right.
But Karl Tanov made it, you said, right?
Karl Tanov you could put there, yeah.
Okay. Did Ole Kavasha go 20 and 40?
No, Wole Kavasha never had 40.
Yeah, I know. It's like he's one of those guys that I never thought he was very good. But I can tell you one guy that fits.
I think he's like a 50-point season, though, one year with the Islanders.
Yeah, I can tell you one guy that fits these.
Yeah.
I can tell you one guy that fits these, but we might want to hold him off until the next one if we can figure out anybody else. It's Craig Janney.
Who?
Craig Janney.
You're right. Craig Janney does fit that because he played for the Islanders, I think, in 99.
And I do believe Robert Reichel gets all the way to Toronto as well.
He gets all the way to Toronto, yeah.
So he gets all the way to Toronto. You know
Steve
what?
Thomas also gets all the way to Toronto.
Did Steve Thomas ever play for the Canadiens? He did not.
No, he didn't. He went from Chicago to Toronto to the Islanders to the Devils to
Toronto to Chicago.
Was it Chicago again then?
Yeah, Chicago is after Toronto.
Again, the second time.
No, yeah, second time. Yeah.
We could probably use Derek King too up to Toronto. Derek King was another one.
Derek King, a very underrated career for the New York Islanders. Like a guy that potted 40 goals.
Russ Courtnall never played for the Islanders, so he would have been perfect for this if he would have played for the Islanders because he played for both Toronto and Montreal, I believe.
Yeah,
I know he played for Montreal. I don't know if he played.
Trying to think of a guy that would have played for Montreal on these because due to conditions. But first, let's go into some of these, Phil. Let's do some of them. So we got Steve Thomas right here. You want to do? Because Craig Janney should fit this. Craig Janney played over 400 games, like his career too.
Yeah, Craig Janney definitely played over 400 games.
You know what? Let me make sure Craig Janney didn't play for Montreal.
No, Janney went from Boston to St. Louis to San Jose to Phoenix, to the Islanders. I think may have even had Nashville in there at some point.
Tampa Bay before
Tampa
Islanders.
Bay before the Islanders. Okay.
Yeah, that was your Nashville you were thinking of.
Yeah, sorry, it was Tampa Bay, not Nashville.
Good.
Hold on. Somebody, I know who fits this even better. And he
Okay.
never played. Actually, you could use him in either of these two spots. We could use Darren Turcotte or Craig Janney in either of these.
Darren Turcotte played for the Islanders?
Yeah. Very late 90s.
Darren Turcotte was an Islander? I don't even remember him playing for the Islanders.
Actually, sorry. No. I'm sorry. I fucked up there. I was thinking in Nashville. See, that's where I fucking mixed them up.
All right. But 20 and 40.
20
about
20 and 40 Islanders.
Does the illustrious Bradis Bister fit this?
No, he does not.
No, he had 20 and 20.
Wait. Crossman.
Are you telling me the constant Crossman's in there?
No, he didn't have a 20-goal season. Shit.
No.
I thought Crossman would have fit that. Damn it. All right.
Constant Crossman.
Oh, please, Mark, stop. Please stop. Please
Yeah,
stop.
and nobody wants to hear Katie Lang to begin with, but
nobody.
Mm.
No, Mark Streit never hit 20 goals. Otherwise, he would have been.
Yeah.
He had that 16 goals and 40 points for the Islanders his first year there.
This is kind of getting me because I'm trying to think of who. I mean, obviously, we could use Zygmunt Palffy right here. We could use. Actually,
no, Zygmunt Palffy is too popular.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying we could use him.
Wait, did Marty McInnes have 40 assists in a season or 20? Does it have to be the same year?
I don't think it's the same year, Phil. I think it's just in the season. Just in a season.
Brian Smolinski fits, I believe.
Marty McInnes topped out at 34.
Smolinski has a 40 assist season.
And he's got a 20 goal season.
Yeah,
but Phil Smolinski would hold for the end. He finished his career in Montreal.
I don't think did he play in Toronto?
Oh no, he never played in Toronto. You were correct.
No,
so Brian Smolinski is going to go right here. Brian Smolinski.
Smolinski here.
And then you got Craig Janney right here.
Craig Janney.
And it's Robert Reichel.
Okay.
Now it's his top one. You need to score 1 so far. So we got this absolutely killed. It's just we got to get whoever this last guy is. An Islander, a Canadian, and a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Could use Derek King too.
Wait, I think I might know who it is.
Who
was the Islanders' big star after Palffy left? A couple 30-goal seasons.
Mariusz Czerkowski.
Yeah, did he get to Montreal?
I think he did play for Montreal. I think he played for them towards the end of his career.
Yeah, 2003. He also played for the Leafs and the Islanders. He's got 400 games played. He's got
no 40.
He doesn't have a 40 assist season.
No, it was the 99-2000. He had 35. Wait, no, Trevor Linden never played for Toronto.
I thought we had him. I thought I had him.
Smolinski would have played for Toronto. He would have fit it.
We talk about players who trades kind of ruined his career, but Trevor Linden was not the same.
Hold on. I think I have one. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Did he play for? No, shit. He didn't play for Montreal. Shit. Travis Green was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, I tried Travis Green. He would have been a good one.
Yeah, he had those 2 seasons playing with Palffy in 95 and 96 where he had 40 assists. I thought he played for Montreal towards the end of his career. Shit. Oh. I don't know. This is
just for giggles. I went with Aaron Asham for a second just to see whether or not he would fit.
Oh my God, Mark! Why would you even? You know,
the giggles. The giggles. That's what I said. The giggles.
This is going to be someone that's it's going to kick me in the teeth.
We're gonna be like, really? Wait a second. I don't think he played for Toronto, but I'm pretty sure he didn't play for Toronto. Okay, good. Turgeon.
I think this is actually an answer. I think this might be an answer.
Let me see. What was it?
He fits all the requirements.
He does fit all the requirements. I think it is P.A. Parento. Good job. And by the way, I was there to see P.A. Parento score his first NHL goal at Nassau Coliseum. P.A. Parento does have a 20-goal season, a 49-assist season. He's played over 400 games in the NHL, played for the Toronto Maple Leafs and New York Islanders, and that is your answer. It's Are we parenting? No, we're parento.
All right, so then there's
we got right here.
The E1 answer.
Matthew Schneider and Kurt Muller. Hard to believe.
Parento was the lowest answer. No. Okay. All right. So we got the lowest answer.
I know, but I'm reading a book on these guys. How did I forget Matthew Schneider was in there?
Yeah. How did I forget Schneider and Muller too? Like these Schneider was in a trade from the Islanders to Montreal, and then
for Pierre Turgeon.
For Pierre Turgeon. Funny enough,
the Rangers got him in the trade that was Karpatsev. And the reason why the Islanders sent him there was to get Kenny Onsen in that deal. Him and Wendell Park went back to Toronto.
Yeah.
Muller went to
the Toronto one because that's where we lost points originally.
Yeah. The Toronto one
went with Reichel, right?
Yeah, went with Robert Reichel. He was a 1%er.
Okay, so
Travis Green, Benoit Hogue, Billy Harris, Kurt Muller. I didn't know Muller played for these guys.
Yeah, we could have went Hogue and Green. And I should have said Hogue because my history with Hogue. But
well, I mean, all of our histories with Hogue. We all know Benny.
Benny.
All right, let's take a couple of your questions, guys, before we by the way, great job, David, coming up with that answer.
Yeah, that was a good call, David. It's funny enough, he got the lowest scoring answer too.
I really thought it was going to be Mariusz Czerkawski.
Oh, Czerkawski.
Yeah. But you know what? We were talking a little bit before about players like I almost called him Justin Huberdeau. He produces like him now. Jonathan Huberdeau, who I think he was really just emotionally devastated when Florida moved him. I don't think he ever thought that was going to happen. That's just me reading tea leaves. But Trevor Linden was never the same after basically the entire Keenan thing. And Messier getting there kind of just crushed him. You go back on Trevor Linden's career. Like, I mean, he had declining skills, but he went from 33 goals season to 9 with Vancouver and only 49 games, 17 and 67. He never scored 20 goals ever again after that. And After the 80.96 season, he never eclipsed 47 points in the season again.
What, Linden?
Linden. I mean,
Linden.
well, his injuries definitely played a factor for him. I can tell you that without even looking at much. But I mean, him getting traded to the Islanders, really being a shell of himself. 25 games with the Islanders. Hit 25 games? No, 107 games. Sorry.
No, he
it included the next season too, where he played 82.
Well, the problem with Linden was, I think when Messier and Keenan came in there and they took the captaincy off of him basically and gave it to Messier, it was just I don't know if he like checked out, but he was just never the same player.
Him and Bore did not like the Messier era in Vancouver. So,
and Bore was still productive. That's the crazy part. Pavel, that's why I say, like, when I look at the best goal scorer I've ever personally seen, I know everybody, points to Ovechkin and says Ovechkin. That's fair. He has the career, he has the all-time record. But if you want to talk about the guy that just pure talent, it was Bore. What Bore did, two-line pass era, with all the obstruction, holding and grabbing, and the two-line pass and the dead puck, and the fact that he just did not have any help around him for the vast majority of his career. Because think about it. Who was the best center that Bure ever played with?
Probably Cliff Ronning.
No.
Like, he didn't, but he didn't play with good centers.
Who was the best center that he ever played with in terms of talent?
Oh, okay. Eric Lindros, you saying?
Yes. And how long did they play together?
Maybe 12, 13 games.
12 games. It was that 2002 stretch run of the deadline where they put him, Raczynski, and Bure, him, Lindros, and Raczynski together. And that line was fantastic. That line almost got them into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that was 12 games of that. And he was a goal per game with Lindros. Who the hell else did that guy play with for the rest of his career? Victor Kozlov, Cliff Ronning, Trevor Linden. Like, no offense to any of these guys, but it's like he didn't have Nicholas Backstrom for 14 years.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what makes it so important. When you get the goal scorer, you got to get the guy that's going to get him the puck. And you kind of saw it. Trying to think of guys that there are those guys that they don't need that playmaker for him. Like Solani was always a productive player away from Korea, and Korea was always able to be productive away from Solani. But
Solani had a period in San Jose where he was not as productive. He was still productive to a point, but he wasn't the same guy he was in Anaheim before that.
No.
It took him going back to Anaheim after the lockout to really revive his career.
Well, Solani was trying to play like more of a, in San Jose, they were trying to really roll, I think, three lines. And Solani had 29 and 28 with San Jose.
It was the defensive first system of Ron Wilson that I think really kind of screwed them, or screwed him in San Jose, because they weren't the same team. Like, he came over and he was a point per game after that deadline in 01. But I mean, Daryl Sutter. Sorry, Ron Wilson.
I was gonna say, it's Daryl Sutter.
Yeah, it was Daryl Sutter there, and I mean, you know what Sutter hockey is. Sutter hockey is defense, 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 and then we worry about offense afterwards. Like, he went from a guy that was a point per game player to 54 points the year after, 64 in 2003. And then I don't know what happened with that Colorado Avalanche team. I really don't.
Yeah.
He had 32 points that year.
You're looking at them based on talent. That's one outstanding team. That is one outstanding team.
Yeah, the Solani thing is really just what a coach can do, neutering a player. That's like, but I look at Bure. Look at the 2001 Panthers. This is just one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Do you remember that
Pavel
year when?
Bure, what?
Finish up.
So
Go ahead.
Bure's 59 goals led the NHL for the second year in a row. He had 59 out of their 200 goals. That's 29.5%. He had 92 out of their 533 points. That's like over 17% of their points. The next highest scorer on the team was Viktor Kozlov with 37 points, and he only played 51 games. The next was Marcus Nilsson with 36 in 78 games. And then Mike Sillinger had 34 in 55 games. Look at what that guy did. And he won a goal scoring title with nobody around him. No one. And I think points wise, I think he was 5th in points that year. I know Elias was 3rd behind Sakic, Yager and Sakic. And then I think it was Bure was either 4th or 5th. Oh, Bure. Oh, no, sorry. Bure was 7th. That was okay. So Jason Allison, Alex Kovalov, and Martin Straka all had 95 points that year. That was right. That was the 2001 Penguins offense, which was one of the better offensive units we've had in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
That Lemieux Yager and whoever line.
Robert Lang, right? No, sorry.
No.
Jan Herdina.
Jan Herdina and then Kevin Stevens, I believe. But that Straka, Lang, Kovalev line, I believe, was the second highest scoring line in the NHL that year, behind Sakic, Tanguay, and Hayduk in Colorado.
Bure in those 2 years, that's amazing. 117 goals in the dead puck era.
That's why I say he would be a lock for 60 plus in today's. I think I could see him scoring 70 plus easily.
Yeah,
but 60 plus a lock. You talk about a guy that was probably the one guy, maybe one or two guys from that era that could challenge Connor McDavid speed-wise. And with that type of talent, like if he would stay healthy in today's era, which I think he would, because there was less BS, there was less knee on knee stuff back then. Or now, I should say, as opposed to back then. I think Bure would have scored 70 plus a year in this era. I really do.
He was a tremendous talent. But I was going to say, do you remember the game the Rangers played Brian Leach on left wing to try to shut him down? And that was that year in Florida. The great philosophy of John Muckler, let's play Brian Leach on the left wing. Instead of, why don't you just play Brian Leach as a defenseman against him? Not like you didn't play against him for the last 8 years, including a Stanley Cup final.
Crazy part is that Keenan specifically went to Tikkanen and asked him to shadow Bure the entire game in Game 7.
And Bure then, really, I still remember.
Churla had. I mean, I don't condone any of it, but Churla had it coming. I'm sorry, he did.
Oh, what was this?
When Bure elbowed Churla and knocked him right out.
No, that was Jay Wells.
No, I'm not talking about in the finals. I'm talking about in the regular season.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, well, he took himself out of Game 4 after scoring like an idiot. He went and elbowed Jay Wells for That's the guy you were going to go elbow. You should have went and elbow Brian Leach,
Yeah.
not
What?
Jay Wells.
Yeah,
Jay
he
Wells
high sticked him.
understood. Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of a great deal for Vancouver when they traded Bore. They got a 3rd round pick, Brad Ferentz. They traded a 3rd round pick, Brad Ferentz and Brett Hedican to the Panthers. Mike Brown, Dave Gagne, Ed Jovodowski, a 1st round pick, which ended up being Nathan Smith, and Kevin Weeks. So they got Jovo, who was on their roster for years to come, and Kevin Weeks, who they then
Jovo won gold in 02.
Yeah, and they also spun him to go with Dave Scatchard and Billy McCalt, I believe. Nope, not Billy McCalt. Dave Scatchard, there's the 3rd guy the Islanders got on the Felix Potvin trade.
Yeah.
I know it was Scatchard. I'm trying to remember.
Jovo Cop.
The Jovo Cop. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Billy McCalt.
And then McCall was in the Chara trade.
That's right. I had it reversed. I had him going first. And then,
he came in the Potvin trade.
Yeah.
So he came in the Potvin trade, went to the Islanders, and then the Islanders moved him along with Chara on the 2nd overall pick, which turned out to be Spezza right before that draft started. I remember when I was like, holy shit. I was like, I can't believe the Islanders just did that. And then they went and they got Yashin, and Yashin, I mean, not bad, but certainly not the player that he was in Ottawa.
Yep, that's right.
That first year was really good, but
well, it happens. And then of course, then he had the puncture leg in his the puncture wound from a skate that hit him. Forgot what Ranger did it. Like it didn't even
it wasn't a Ranger.
Thought it was a Ranger.
No, I think it was a Flyer, and I think it was Michael Handzus.
Yeah, that it didn't even cut the sock, but it still cut him. I think it caused some nerve damage.
Oh, let's see. Gosh, cuts wrist. Okay, yeah, it's. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was Handzus, if I remember correctly.
Handzus?
Yeah, it was 2003, so Handzus was there. Yeah,
and the Islanders
it was
did not want to buy out Yashin at the end of that.
I was right. Yeah, I remember watching that game. I remember the cut was so deep that he didn't even bleed.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how bad it was.
That's crazy. All right.
I just remember, I was like, what the fuck?
I know. Filko, I know we could go on for hours. But we're gonna cut it here. I gotta get this all ready for work. Well, I gotta get ready for work, but also I gotta get this ready for everybody that's listening on audio. Everybody, always thank you very much for joining us today, and a great time as always. I keep saying we're going to take a weekend off, but then there's just enough news and just enough hockey talk that we're able to keep going. Good determination by that man right there, and we are still putting out some great content throughout all this. Look for more videos that we got coming out for the next month. We'll still satisfy the hockey itch that you have. So everybody, take it easy, and we will see you in the next video. Make sure you watch, if you haven't, the John Scott All-Star MVP video or the Jim Carrey Rise and Fall video, which was always interesting to think back on that short career. But we're going to have a lot more stuff like that coming out. So we will see you soon and in the next one.